Well, hello there, Dr. Dell again, and these are some questions that I've been asked and I'm answering with these videos. And on this particular one, I'm going to answer question number 5. Now, you may have watched the videos on the first 4 questions, and if that's true, you'll probably know the answer to this anyway, but here it is. Question 5. What are the 5 math courses in the basic practical math foundation Triad Math teaches? And how do they prepare students for STEM careers or technical fields? And then I say to learn all about them, visit triadmath.com. And so I'm going to tell you all about them by clicking on that and going there and visiting that. And here's the answer. Now, first of all, if you study math with me, you're going to do it probably at home on your own time. There are schools that are teaching our program, and you might be getting it through a school, but you don't have to. You can get it at home very easily. In fact, I say here in this website, go to triadmath.com. Homeschooling your teen in math just got easier with this approach. And if you decide to try it, what I'm going to tell you about, you have a 30-day money-back guarantee. We don't ever want any money from any student that isn't learning the math from us. That's always part of our deal. And if you are taking math at a school, this can be a tremendous supplement to your curriculum, particularly if you're struggling with math. But even if you're not struggling, it's going to help you. In fact, you're going to learn things that probably they're not teaching you at your school. Now, I will tell you this, they'll be teaching a lot of stuff at your school I'm not going to teach you, but that's between you and the school. So here's what's involved. First thing, I've told you in other videos, you're going to master the scientific calculator. And the one we use is a TI-30XA, about a $10 calculator. It's a fantastic calculator. And if that's all you did with us, that's a $29 program to get you started. And by the way, if you did that and you couldn't learn it or didn't like it, then you're probably not going to want to do anything else with us anyway. This really gets students, even students that don't like math, they struggle with math, this gets them turned around. I talked about that in another video on beliefs. This gets them to where, I can learn math. I can learn the calculator. Well, the math doesn't get any harder. Then I have, and there's 16 lessons, by the way. Then I have 10 lessons on what I call pre-algebra. Now, this is really just making sure they know the rules of arithmetic. Most students have learned that already in elementary school, but I can't assume that. I want to make sure they know. So that's another 10 lessons, and that's $39. By the way, we call that Tier 1. These two things together are Tier 1 if you buy our Tier 1 program. You can also buy these books individually if you want to, or you can buy both of these programs in Tier 1. Now, life gets really interesting. Now we're going to get into what I call practical math. And we start out with practical algebra. Now, I'll make you learn these other things first because you're going to use the calculator to learn algebra. There's 10 lessons in it, $49, and it's easy. Now, algebra, the way it's taught in schools today, there's all kinds of stuff in it that's difficult to learn, and it's basically useless for most students. So that's what makes this so different. There's no algebra book, by the way, to do this. We always use tutorial videos, notes and exercises, and quizzes. And there is no textbook that does what this does that I'm aware of. Then practical geometry, another $49. And geometry, now this is practical. How long is something? What is the area? What is the volume? And you have to use practical algebra along with geometry to answer the question. So now they're using them together. And that's the way it ought to be. They ought to be integrated. This idea that you have a whole year of algebra before you study geometry that's old-fashioned nonsense, the way our ancestors developed it over a century, the way it's still taught in our schools, and it's horrible. You show me a big, thick algebra book, and I will go into it, and I'll point out all sorts of things that are obsolete, you shouldn't be learning, and theory that it's premature, you shouldn't be learning the theory, all sorts of things. You want to know what you should learn, study the curriculum in these two. And by the way, go to my website, I have a syllabus for all this. Now, algebra and geometry are wonderful, except they can't deal with lots of angles. You need what's called trigonometry, practical trigonometry. Guess what? Only 7 lessons, and you'll learn all the practical trig you'll ever need, thanks to The scientific calculator makes it very easy. Now, this is the practical math I'm talking about. You can buy all 5 of these courses together for $199 or 6 payments of $39. And remember, you get to try it out. Try the first one. If you don't like it, get your money back. Now, if you're a young student, this is probably a good thing to buy because they're going to have this now for the rest, forever, so to speak. And you need to come back and review and you'll forget things. So over a period of time, if you're a young student and this is as far as you want to go, this might be all that you want to do. But there's another thing you might do. Depends on who you are, what your situation is. This is something that's brand new. We call it the Triad Math Tribe. And I'll be talking about that in some other videos that coming up. But this might be what you want to do because you get access to everything, not just what I just told you there, but all 6 tiers. What I just showed you are the first 2 tiers. Practical algebra, geometry, trig is what I call tier 2. And then you also get all sorts of success tools and everything. And so this is a plan that you might want to look at. And there's a business opportunity. You get to try for 30 days with no charge and so on. So this probably is ultimately what you're going to want to go to get started. And then if you decide that you may decide to come back and buy this so you'll have it forever, who knows what. It'll be up to you. But in any event, that is what they're all about. That's all there is to it. 98% of all students can learn it, and most of them will enjoy it, and then they'll be ready for a career. Now, when I talk about STEM, this is a foundation. Now we're going to go way beyond this, and I'll show you this in another video. So if you're going to go into science and engineering, or if you're going to go to college, this gets you ready for the practical workforce even without going to college. And it's not getting you ready. It's a foundation for science and engineering, but it's not enough. So I'll tell you that on another video. So, Craig Hain, glad that you watched this. We'll hopefully see you on some other videos, and I hope that you're enjoying this. And above all, just get started. Join the Triad Math Tribe if all else, and just get started and experience it. If you're a student or if you know a student, if you're the parent of a student, get the student involved. And by the way, if you join the tribe, and I'll tell you that in another video, I'll talk about the tribe on some other videos.